pressure reducing valve here to reduce the water pressure for the home, to make sure the water, to extend the life expectancy of the hot water heater, the other utilities in the house. Up here there's a pipe that'll feed later to the hose pipe to the water hose. Now there's a cutoff here so the customer does not have to go all the way to the street. They can simply turn the water on and off here. That would be on. That would be the on position. Over here is a Schedule 80 fitting, which is tougher than the Schedule 40, but it gives it a more durability and more strength. We transition up the cutoff up here, and then it goes up to the house here, and again this tees off here, and later the customer will add this and do the put a cutoff in here. But this is the pressure reducing valve. This valve here, over a period of time, they get old, they get rusted. It depends on how heavy or how hard the water is. But this pressure reducing valve should give you in the range of 25 to 75 psi. 60 to 75 psi is perfect pressure for the home. And so this should be in top of the line shape, a new system. And when putting these pressure reducing valves in, as one note, there is this valve has to go one way, as one can see here, this direction here. The water comes up here, the water goes in upward in this direction, as one can see right here. This indicates, so if you flip this 180 degrees, that's going to be taboo, and that's not going to work. So this has to be aligned in the proper order. And this screw here, when adjusting it, basically it has a screw here. You have to back it out. Don't back it out too far, or the nut will fall off. Then you take a flathead screwdriver, turn it clockwise to increase the pressure, turn it this way, and turn it counterclockwise to decrease the pressure. And then once you get it set to where you want it, you can just put this up. You don't need to necessarily use a wrench. You can just kind of hand tighten it there. It's just to kind of hold it. So, but when you go to reset it again, take this nut, loosen this nut up, and then turn it clockwise. Clockwise to increase the pressure, counterclockwise to decrease the pressure. And then again, the pressure ranges would be between 25 to 75 psi. But the perfect pressure, the optimum pressure, would be somewhere in the range of about 60 to 75 psi. So anything over 75 to 85 psi, one needs a pressure reducing valve. If your home, if the street produces enough pressure, if the street's below that, you may not need this. But if your water pressure from your street, and you can test it with a little tester thing gummy, you can screw it onto your hose pipe, make sure everything's off in the house, turn that water faucet on, and it'll tell you what PSI is. If it's over 75 or 80 PSI, you probably need a pressure reducing valve. The plumbers call this a PRV valve. That's an acronym for pressure reducing valve. So now if we change this again, this was PVC all the way up. So all we would have to do is come in here. If we turn the water on here, this is flush with the pipe, the water would be on. If we turn it this way, the water would be off. So, and then the customer at some point wants to come here. There's a T right here. At some point, the customer wants to come here and then use this and this, terminate this to actually, not terminate it, it's terminated here, but to actually add a water faucet somewhere downstream somewhere. So again, pressure reducing valve to lower your water pressure in your home. If your pressure's too high, it will shorten the life expectancy of your hot water heater and other items in your home. So make sure your pressure's off. One other tip here, in a mobile home, modular home, or one of these self-built homes, Be sure to throw your breaker for your hot water heater before you cut it, because up here when you cut it, sometimes it has a tendency, if the hot water heater's up above here, to siphon all the water out of the hot water heater. And if you don't throw the element, it will burn the element up. It's not a big deal, but you'll have to drain the hot water heater and put 2 new elements in. So just be sure to throw your breaker in your breaker box before you cut it up here. But this is in, she's ready to go, and pressure reducing valve for water pressure to get the pressure to the correct length. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.